Hello there, Frogman, better known as Ryan, and here on this show you can count on me to be as unbiased as possible. I want to deliver a review that cuts to the core of a game and explains all the good and bad of the entire experience, no matter what's put in front of me. Sonic.
Sonic and the Secret Rings was released in February of 2007. That's right, as of 2025, it's legal. So let's celebrate adulthood together by looking back on our past mistakes.
Hello everybody, I'm back again with Paper Mario. I meant f***ing Sonic, dude.
Specifically, the last 3D Sonic game to be released at the time was the infamous Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. A game that is just fascinating in how much of a mess it was, and it left the Sonic franchise in a bit of a state. If the world allows, I'd love to get into it in the future, but I've got this right here, as it has been for most of my video game playing life. I honestly don't even remember how this came about. I don't think me or my brother even knew what Sonic was. We weren't the ones to ask for random ass games either, and I honestly don't see us being like,
oh man, can we get this one? He's on fire and married!
So yeah, I really don't remember how we came upon this, but I do remember we've had it for just about as long as we've had this system. Open up the game and we're greeted to a title screen and prompt to hit the 2 button. Now if you're one of those that are afraid of taking action or are enraptured by the sight of flames like a f***ing moth, then you'll be pulled into a 3D cutscene. It's alright. Sonic looks pretty cool here, along with a palace in the distance. Oh my god, it's exploding now! Door portals? Mystic runes!
Oh, look, the direct midpoint between Thanos and Fred Durst.
Does he really have a barber's razor for a sword? Doesn't that fire hurt?
Sega.
Yeah, it just kind of abruptly ends there.
It'll probably make more sense with context. For now, let's just begin the main adventure. Huh. Cool song. Interesting for the selection menu music. I honestly thought that the previous song worked okay, but let's start the game proper.
Sonic has fallen asleep in his house reading the Arabian Nights.
Because there's nothing else Sonic is known for.
He's woken up by a female voice and we're introduced to Shara, a genie of the ring that wastes no time in judging our interests.
You know, like Aladdin in the Magic Lamp?
Don't think I've read that.
What? You've got to be kidding me. It's the best story of all the Arabian Nights.
Despite not being learned enough for Gatekeeper Shara, she tells us that her world, the entire story of the Arabian Nights, is being erased by an evil spirit known as Eraser Jin. Once he is through with the storybook world, he will then allegedly come to Sonic's world and presumably do the same. To get into the world, Shara returns to her ring and affixes herself to Sonic, sharing her power and allowing Sonic to be granted simple wishes.
Master of the ring, what is thy wish?
Achoo! Achoo! How about a handkerchief for starters? Make that a few. Thanks. You're a lifesaver. You see, I caught this cold yesterday and...
Wow, what a quirky scene.
Off into the world of the Arabian Nights and onto the first level.
3, 2, 1.
Tilting the Wii remote to the left and right will move you in that direction.
What the f*** was that?
This has got to be the worst beginning for a Sonic game I have ever seen. You've got your classic tutorial to jump going on, but because this is Sonic's first foray into the Wii, we can't use these puny buttons. We've got to use motion controls, baby!
No!
Boy howdy are these controls every sense of not good. Sonic moves forward technically by tilting the Wii remote forward, but it feels to me at least that he just goes automatically. To move him left and right, you need to tilt the Wii remote, and before you ask, no, it does not feel great because Sonic's response to this input is slow as hell. I'll get to that later. You need to hold 2 to slide, charge up a jump, and release the button to execute it, which feels ass backwards for a platformer, and the 1 button makes Sonic brake, allowing more consistent way to stop running. Finally, you can jump dash and homing attack by shaking the Wii remote in air. All of this feels terrible to execute in game. Sonic running forward essentially makes the whole game an auto runner and makes platforming very inaccurate and subject to the fickle whims of the Wii motion detection. And the whole time it makes you wonder how this came to be. Like, to make the tilt controls happen, Sonic needs to move forward by himself. But what if you want to slow down? Oh, use the jump button. But we can't have it be too slow. Here's the brake button. Oh, you also need to pull the Wii remote back if you want to awkwardly step backwards, even though tilting forward doesn't make Sonic go any faster. I can't for the life of me follow this logic. It's like they felt they had to include motion controls for the Wii because it's the Wii. Everybody loves motion controls on the Wii. Sonic is already hard as hell to control with buttons, and now we're throwing this unintuitive nonsense along with it? Oh man, I love the color of this beer. It would look great on my wall. And now imagine you're going through this tutorial and every time you learn one move, you are treated to the same screen, same song, and are booted back to the selection menu where you hear the first 10 seconds of this f***ing song play every time. 8 whole levels of this shit, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're bouncing back and forth between 10 seconds of unintelligible song and levels that teach you how to jump twice, you start to go a little batty from the bullshit. You know, now that I think about it, I really don't trust you with this. Endure that fiasco, and we have a new cutscene.
He's here!
Well, Sonic's dead. Good game.
In actuality, this is Eraser Jin, come by to proclaim his evilness and show off his totally impractical and stupid-looking razor sword. It's like they picked out one thing and made it this guy's entire identity.
Shh, they're finding out.
Eraser asks Shara about the 7 world rings. When she says she doesn't have them, he retaliates by shooting an arrow at Shara. At Sonic, telling them that if the fire goes out, he'll perish. Not one to be shaken by the threat of death, Sonic speeds off to the next area.
Ugh, I don't know, man. I never got this far as a kid. We were literally bounced from how boring that first section was. What could possibly be ahead to make this experience worthwhile?
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, yeah!
Now that the sizable training wheels are off and we've got real music playing, oh my god, this feels like a game now. The controls still blow, but we're running kinda fast, and the song is an absolute perfect track to shock me back awake. It's got just that right blend of Arabian music with Sonic's more modern butt rock that makes it just hit. And look, I know this is the same game where I complained for a long time about the controls, but let me have this one moment. I just want this game to have at least one win. I am a Sonic fan, and to some I definitely look the part.
I am still unsure if they were insulting me.
Finish the level and we have a cutscene where we meet Eggman, who claims himself to be King Shahryar. Yes, that King Shahryar, the main character of the Arabian Nights. I say main character, but he's only the main character in that all the stories are being told to him by his wife. I'm not even gonna try that. All the stories are being told to him by his wife, so he doesn't execute her. Wait, what? So here's some gold. Shahryar was once betrayed by his wife, making him believe that all women will end up betraying him. So for 3 years, he gets a wife and has them killed the next morning, thus bringing on the story of the Arabian Nights. Sonic and the Secret Rings. Eggman hates women. Right, Eggman. He gets taken by Eraser riding a f***ing pterosaur. What do you mean? Well, before we go chase him, we've got to do a few missions in this world, because King Women Hater can wait while we go and break 5 jars. Or not. I don't know. Who f***ing cares? This is the main loop of the game. Pick out a mission to play said mission with varying degrees of success, rinse and repeat until a cutscene plays, or you can go to a new world. Now, you may be asking, out of the multitude of missions before you, each one unlocking with its own special jingle, how do you know which one to complete? Well, after completing the game, I don't have any idea which missions are important. They're not separated by any indicators like story missions, so you're just left to repeat the cycle of play game, end, selection, game, end, select, game, end, select, game, end, select. I can't tell you how often you have to listen to the first 10 seconds of 7 Rings in Hand throughout this whole game. Like, I get you may be proud of the song, but I can only hear Make Believe Reborn so many times before I start hearing it in everything I do. Don't get me wrong, it is rather resourceful to reuse the same levels over and over to get more mileage with missions, but with the auto-runner way in which Sonic moves, some levels are just not built to handle a certain direction Sonic is going, causing some problems. And a lot of them are just really boring with generic rules, so I'll only explain the levels that are truly noteworthy and the first mission of a world, as that really showcases all of the unique elements anyway. After a few random missions, we have a cutscene where Sonic saves Tails from the generic genie goons. Sonic asks Tails how he got there, to which he tells them that he's actually Alibaba. Fun tidbit, the 40 Thieves attempt to kill Alibaba and his family because his brothers stole from them, but he's protected by their slave girl Morgania. Sonic and the Secret Rings, Tails' own slaves. I'll keep harping on it as it comes up, but the story is just all over the place. We're set off to find these 7 world rings, and we meet Sonic characters dressed as people from the Arabian Nights, but they don't act like them or have any sort of characteristics that take advantage of the source material. They're just Sonic characters in silly outfits, and that's the lot. You know, I'm starting to think this story isn't taking itself seriously, so let's go to the next Arabian Night location, the Dinosaur Jungle. We start by having a pack of Triceratops chase after us. Every camera change is a coin flip of if I'll die or not. Sonic falls off a bridge into a river, but he's fine. I'm told to avoid the rocks. I hit all of them. They do nothing. We go to some jungle area. Platforming still sucks. Motion sickness. There's this cool section where Sonic jumps off the head of a dinosaur and goes, "Whoa, thanks," as if he didn't do it on purpose. We've got another log segment.
If those iron balls hit us, we'll fall into the water.
Now we're dodging a big T-Rex, and it's a normal game up until the end. The cutscene has Sonic begrudgingly save King Shahryar, and after some antics, he tells them Eraser went off to a distant castle, and that's our next location. After some missions. Well, now's a good time as any to mention skill rings. As you're going through these tedious time vampires that are displayed to us as entertainment, you gain experience to level up Sonic. Leveling up allows you to hold more rings, gain more special points, and increase your soul gauge once that's unlocked. We'll get to it. You can customize up to 4 different skill rings with different abilities and powers that range from entirely different moves to boosts that make Sonic control more smoothly.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You mean to tell me that Sonic's lethargic movement is due to needing upgrades for the skill rings? I understand some like different slides and max homing attack reach, but Sonic starts out way too slow and hard to control. Maybe they wanted to let players get acclimated to the slow speed and speed up once they understand each of the levels, but that's silly. If you die, it's a negligible penalty, and for the stages where you need to not die, Sonic's top speed is never the problem. And all of this is compounded by the fact that the game never tells you how the skill rings work, leaving the ones out of the loop without skills and having an absolute miserable experience. Like, imagine playing the whole game at this speed.
Is this a castle?
Yeah, but it's no ordinary castle.
The only way that Sonic is a blue blur in this state is if you're using the Simple Flick Slick camera. You know, that one.
I'd recommend the skill that gives Sonic a speed boost upon canceling a jump because you can drop and break into a sprint almost instantly. Now we're at the Evil Foundry, and I'm sorry. I like the sound of this song, but what the fuck are these lyrics? Who's gonna rock the place, place, place? Who's gonna rock the place, place, place? Who's gonna rock the place, will forever rock the place? Who's gonna rock the place, all together now rock the place? Like, how did this even come about?
I'm telling you, there's no way we can write a song with just one sentence.
The level's pretty neat. There's a big walking blocky dude that turns into grindable rails when defeated. These barrels blow up after hitting them, and it's real easy to blow yourself up. Some of them don't work right. There's this super fast fan. I have no clue how I slipped past. And then there's this golden interaction.
Sonic, look up!
Let's keep going, Shara.
Actually, I thought this was just a good place to park it.
Get to the end, and Eraser is summoning a new powerful spirit known as an Ifrit because he, quote, wants to let the Ifrit burn whatever pages remain in the book. So how does that work? He's stealing the words to gain power, but if they're burned, it's just as good? We won't get answers to this, much like how we have no answer to his question about our progress with the world rings. So our flame is tinier, and half of the flame is left. Sonic rears up to fight the Ifrit, but can't because his life is tied to the flame and thus cannot fight fire with fire. With an interesting quirk introduced and Sonic determined to go forth with a just watch me, we now get to see how he deals with the threat.
Time break.
I'm f***ing sorry?
We haven't been able to do anything like this before. What possessed Sonic to rub the ring and be like, I hope Shara can make this work for me? Sonic and the Secret Rings. Control time or die. And after that mind melter, we've unlocked the Soul Gauge and two new abilities, being Time Break and Speed Break. Time Break slows the world down, allowing you to slow down crazy quick obstacles, like the one just before we unlocked this ability. In theory, it's great to use it to precisely navigate through obstacles. In practice, however, Sonic slows way down when using it, making it feel real sluggish to use. Which is strange because the cutscene has Sonic move normally while everything else is paused. Why we couldn't have gotten that version is beyond me. I also don't know why we have this gross gray and doubling filter on the world. It just makes it way too hard to see, and I don't ever want to use this. Just make everything drop its saturation during the time break, and if Sonic, don't. Then there's Speed Break. It makes you go incredibly fast at the cost of draining your soul gauge and sight.
Yeah, I love Speed Break.
When you use the speed break, you go far too fast, and you have these red speed lines that block most of your vision. The world gets insanely blurry, and to top it off, you can be hurt in this state, meaning that if you use it where there are stationary obstacles of any kind, you will run into them and take damage. The only time I find myself using these abilities is when it's just a running segment where there's nothing else happening, or the select few areas where they hit a fire soul and you need to use Time Break to see it. Which, by the way, can I just say fuck off to whoever thought that one up? It's already painful to use the ability, but now I've got to sporadically use it on the off chance it's just chilling in the gammy jizz dimension? Well, with that out of the way, what does the game tell us to do next? Nothing. There's no direction from the game on where you're meant to go. I tried clearing missions in the dino jungle and got this.
Hey, look at that.
It's another one of the 7 world rings.
I'm sorry, another? Like I should have multiple by now? And this one is just laying out in some random field? Sonic mirrors my sentiments.
Well, I think I've had just about enough of this.
Man, wouldn't that be great? So the way forward for this game is really difficult to discern. It seems that missions that award world rings are just strewn about, and I have to keep playing as many missions as I can to find them.
I played this game for fun.
Eventually, we return to Alibaba/Tails. He suggests to get help from Sinbad, who was taken by
The roof.
The roof?
The roof is on fire!
Now we're off to the Levitated Ruin. The Levitated Ruin has the great gimmick of blowing Sonic back, preventing you from moving forward sometimes, and it sucks exactly as much as it looks. Sometimes you fight a gargoyle. Okay. There's a bunch of segments where you run behind it on a light bridge. Ugh. There's also this moment where a new mechanic is introduced in an environment where it will immediately kill you for messing up. See, there's these circles that Sonic can jump to, and you get the most propulsion out of them from waiting until they're at their smallest. Now imagine one of these is full of spikes and way faster than the others, so if you don't escape immediately, down you go.
Oh, no!
Normally you'd want to introduce this new mechanic in a safe environment and not throw a new player in the danger zone before we can understand what it means. It's not a huge deal since we just respawn a little bit back, but it's just the small things, you know? The level finishes by finding Knuckles in jail. Oh, but of course it's not Knuckles, it's Sinbad of the Seven Seas, adventurer of adventurers. He offers up his wisdom in defeating the Ifrit for his freedom, and after Sonic contemplates leaving him, decides it might be beneficial to help out the world-renowned adventurer. What did Sinbad even do, anyway? Okay then, Knuckles has some serious skeletons in his closet. We're then given a mission to rescue Sinbad. All we have to do is go to the different islands via zipline and pull each lever to break the rings by shining light on it? Okay, fine. Once we do this 4 times, we release Sinbad, and although he'll never be freed from his survivor's guilt, he says we could weaken the Ifrit by splashing water on it via the water blue ring that he uses to control storms. With that direction, we're off to Pirate Storm. This world has the distinction of featuring a section where Sonic rides a cannon shot. There's this cool bit where you overcome a huge wave. There's a boss in this world.
Oh, now I don't know which one the pirate is.
Try the only one that's here.
Maybe that's hinting toward a cut mechanic where the enemy would split into lesser spirits and you would have to hit the correct one. But that would really suck with the way homing attacks work. So instead we have to homing attack onto the horns of the monster and shake the Wii Remote to rip the horns right out. An action that Sonic seems to take great pleasure in doing. If you take too long to pull out a horn, you can jump off to avoid damage. I got gold medal on my first try. We receive the water blue ring, and Sonic muses how only he must be able to touch the rings because both him and the rings are not of this world.
Sonic, you stupid f***, Sinbad literally said he uses this ring to control storms.
Tailsy Baba flies in, as he's known to do in the Arabian Nights, to warn us that the Ifrit's power is growing stronger and we need to get a move on. Complete a mission in the Evil Foundry and we return to the Ifrit, calling forth a storm to weaken the fire spirit and begin the fight. It's alright, the Ifrit looks pretty cool in 3D. You need to hit its knuckles to knock it down, traverse the filled room to its head where the weak point is. I got real fed up with the explosive barrels coming out exactly where Sonic goes after a homing attack, but it wasn't too crazy. Defeat the Ifrit, and now it's a ball with a heartbeat. It's getting faster. Oh shit, it's a bomb. This is legitimately cool. Having to race through the reverse of a course with the context of carrying a live bomb back to the entrance, it really makes this mission feel more unique than all the other ones. However, with that said, the limitation of the format means that failing only results in...
This just isn't my day.
That's a bit underwhelming, but the framing of the whole event really made this stand out. So, well done, Secret Rings. You're on the board. Sonic kicks the bomb safely outside, and we are rewarded with another world ring. The red one sealed with rage, as Sonic comments. With literally nothing left to drive us forward, Shara suggests we go find King Solomon for his help. Now we're on to the Skeleton Dome. Not much to say about this. There's lots of bones, and there's this one section that reminded me, oh right, the controls still fucking suck. Sick. God fucking bless America. Oh my god. The slide is killing me. Ah! Holy shit. Good dude. It's so hard to control. Ah! Get to the end and Solomon is just a floating skeleton head. He asks us to retrieve and assemble the rest of his body while also dealing with the reincarnated 40 thieves who were responsible for trying to kill him in the first place. These are pretty cool missions, actually, tasking you with finding the king's bones, chasing down his hand, and returning to him, while also eliminating the 40 thieves. It's pretty neat. However, the 40 thieves specifically feels a little shallow since it counts every enemy as a requirement to win, when I think they intended for just the skeleton swordsmen to be the thieves in question.
Why are the missions feeling more connected and complete the further I get into this? Is this game, like, finally getting good? Oh, got it.
During these missions, we get the White Ring and speak with Solomon. He talks about how Eraser's power is nearly godlike at this point. He reveals Eraser is a genie of the lamp, lamenting on how we could stop him if they had the lamp he belonged to. He tells us to find Eraser in his palace, and the White Ring will allow us entry. So off we go.
I sense death approaching.
It is tax season.
Once we've unlocked the final world... Oh, it's the cutscene from the title screen. I guess now we have the context we need. We're staring down Eraser's palace. Still don't know why it blows up. He looks real cool right up until he flashes the barber's sword. Like, I get you're really trying to make this thing work, but just stop. Sonic stares down the many spirits and... Oh, wait, Sonic, don't put that out! That's your life! Yeah, it still abruptly ends there. Sonic is feeling like his time limit is close to done. Shara, feeling sorry, is calmed by Sonic, reminding her of the promise they made. So one question, when? Now we're in the Night Palace, a really cool place that works perfectly. Standout part of this level is when the hallway stretches out and we're taken to a space where the floor is glass. It looks pretty decent. The kill floor is a nanometer below the floor, which looks kind of silly.
Oh no!
There's also a bit where you're in a room full of gas and you slowly lose rings. Word of advice, don't die here, the respawn is not kind. Once we're past the last gate, we finish the level and confront Eraser himself. Man, I love this boss fight. The song is awesome and I like the song. So, what's Sonic's plan to defeat a magic genie whose power is becoming that of a god? Well, he's gonna run down an endless hallway and hit it till it dies. This works! Gameplay-wise, you need to dodge his stupid-looking sword, waiting for the slashes that his head has lowered for longer, and homing attack when the symbol appears. There's also what I call the cinematic attack, where the camera changes to a wide shot, and after a few seconds, Eraser jumps forward and slashes you. You can use Time Break to make it easier to hit the small window of time he's vulnerable, or you can just nail the half-second window in real time. That's right, I can comfortably say I'm a sex god. Beat Eraser and he retreats behind a door, the same door on the cover of Sonic's book. Apparently. I think it's what they were going for, but it's kind of hard to tell with this art style.
When the 7 rings that control the worlds are gathered, the portal between worlds shall open. We've got the 7 world rings. This must be the door that they open.
What? So the 7 rings are required to open a portal to get to between worlds. Wait, what do you mean? That's not the end of the game? What are you talking about? No! I don't know why the credits play here. Even if I had all the world rings right now, it'd have me watch all the credits just to go back and play the real final boss fight, which by itself is pretty silly. Almost as silly as not having all the rings yet! I followed the story as it led me, and now I'm missing key pieces of the plot. Did they expect me to see this cutscene about a showdown with the boss, have my ADHD kick in, and start doing something else?
You know, let's give them a break. This was made in 2007. They didn't have easy ways to ensure retention. Now, if this were made in more modern times... I am so invested right now.
So let's go find the rest of the world rings. After some missions in the Night Palace, we find the purple ring. Sonic asks Shara how she and the Eraser know each other, and if he really is a genie of the lamp. Shara lore dumps Eraser's backstory, telling us he was indeed the genie from the story, forced to grant the wish of 1,000 people as punishment. Lamenting his sad fate due to the story he was written into, and showing signs that even though she is a far weaker genie of the ring, she wishes to stop Eraser Jin and return the world back to what it was. It's never explicitly said, but her tone and mentioning of cruel fate makes me believe she's looking for a destiny far kinder to this person we've called a villain, and really makes me rethink all the cutscenes we've seen before. Shara almost seems reluctant in fully defeating Eraser Jin, looking away during the talk of finding his lamp, taking on a scolding tone when he calls forth the Ifrit. It almost seems like Shara believes he can be saved and given a life that's better for him.
Interesting. Well, we're gonna have to see how that pans out once we find the rest of the rings, but to get there, we've got more Sonic gameplay!
god! You gotta be kidding me. We get the blue ring, and Sonic comments how touching it makes it feel like he's got a whirlpool of emotions inside of him, which gets him all dramatic.
I can't even begin to imagine what having all 7 rings would do to someone. It might even open the gates of hell.
Char gives Sonic something. It's like a wavy metal ball thing, saying if nothing works against Eraser Jin, it will be their final resort, adding she cannot use it by herself.
Why is it that all of the interesting Char story beats are missable? Granted, this is now fresher in my mind because I'm learning this closer to the end, but keep in mind this was supposed to take place between the freeing Sinbad and the pirate boss fight. It really feels like a little more steps needed to be taken in order to ensure I got these in the proper order.
Speaking of this cursed sequence, let's get the first world ring of the game. We get a cutscene of this big-eyed scorpion-looking thing that comes out of the sand, and since this is the beginning of the game, Sonic asks if Char can do something about it before finding out she can't do shit to anything. Sonic comforts her by saying he'll have her smiling by the end of this, his promise to her. The same promise that she remembered when entering the Night Palace.
Oh. That's fucking dumb.
All this promise was Sonic saying, I'm going to make everything better by the end of this, which was something that Char got him to help out with in the first place. But I suppose Char's never talked to another person in her life because this rather shallow promise stuck with her to the end of the game. Ugh, right, there's a boss fight here too, and I've got to get to that because there'll be more time to complain about the story later. This game. Sonic and Char come across the first world ring, the last one in the collection. Char notes she can't pick it up, as has been documented before, and Sonic picks it up, causing him immense pain. And because there's no easy way to naturally bring it up, Char simply lore dumps the reason we're collecting the rings. Quote, when the 7 rings that control the world are gathered, the portal between the worlds shall open. But the life of the collector of the rings shall be offered up in sacrifice as the key to that control.
Thanks for waiting this whole time to tell us that, Shara. Why'd you have to wait till the first ring of the game to tell us this?
Sonic is not too jazzed about being a sacrifice, but Char claims that that is not a certainty, and collecting all the rings must unlock the key to some mystery.
Speaking as somebody who's collected them all, I'm still just as lost about these things' function as I am when I started.
But what the fuck ever, it's time for the final chapter. Now that we truly for realsies have the 7 world rings, Sonic and Chara open the door to find Eraser Jin with his... God, man, you've got to put this sword thing behind you. Eraser commends Chara for using Sonic to gather the world rings and commands her to give them to him, ignoring Sonic's outcry to rid him of the curse, which is getting dangerously low. Eraser once again tells Chara to hand them over, promising to rule the world together with him if she does, and she does it? Are you kidding me? She tells Sonic that she has to do this and just wants to be back with him again. You mean to tell me that the whole time of wanting to stop Eraser Jin, being sad about his backstory, hoping for a better future, and even giving us this last resort ball thing was completely undone now that Daddy Barbasword is slightly nice to you? And it's all pointless anyway because Sonic reasonably tells her to think about what will happen and commands her to do what you truly think is right. And because she's a fucking girl character, she fucking collapses and passes out.
Chara!
I don't think the Bechdel test has ever been passed in a Sonic game.
Eraser Jin recounts the words from the last ring, which was the first ring, and offers Sonic's life as a sacrifice. Sonic looks boned until...
Chara!
Chara apologizes to Sonic, saying she knew this would happen and regrets getting Sonic involved.
It's okay. It's not your fault.
It kinda is.
Sonic pleads with her to grant his wish to have her not die and go back to the way she was, and in one final act of being useless, cannot grant Sonic's wish.
In the end, such is the weak power of a genie of the ring.
Eraser merges with the world rings and in a Disney Star Wars move becomes all of the Arabian Nights. Aflela Lawela. Since the form is incomplete, as commented on by Sonic, rings are ejected from the monster and merge with Sonic, powering up and transforming him into Dark Spine Sonic for the final boss.
Did you have that nightmare again?
Yeah, the one where a Sonic game kept using the same song and used it for a final boss fight.
You want some water?
Yeah, sure. Wait, I live alone? Who are you? What the fuck is wrong with this franchise, man?
Listen, I like Seven Rings in Hand. I love the main part of it, but holy fuck, it is no longer welcome in my home. After being forced to listen to it every time you go into the mission select, browse skill abilities, complete a level, having it be the overlaying music of the final boss is a special blend of, if I don't laugh at this, I'm gonna cry. So the boss plays like this. You've got a soul gauge to match Sonic's massive cock and can charge it by shaking the Wii remote. Layla will attack with these energy balls, dodge them by moving left and right. This slash attack that telegraphs with light before harming you. After a bit, he'll back up, charge up a really big ball of energy, and throw it at you, which you got to use speed break to begin holding it back. Once you've done that, you need to shake the Wii remote to push it back, and this is where 6 hours of Sonic was starting to become physically harmful. Oh my god, I got a cramp in my right arm. Son of a bitch. All this waggling has come back. You know how often I jerk off, this shouldn't be happening. Once you've kicked back the ball, you can then run up and attack his, I don't know, chest walnut and damage him. I used to think you need a full soul gauge to get the max damage since it drains after attacking, but both full and little did the same amount of damage, so don't even worry about it. He then breaks out a whirlpool attack that will pull you in and hurt you if you ever hit the center, and if he launches 2 volleys, I don't know how to dodge them. Give me a break, I'm so close to the end here. A few more cycles of the same shit, kicking back ball, punching chest until his lights go out, and he's done for.
Your tale is finished, Eraser. Next time, try writing a better story.
I really don't like the implication that Sonic has no shoes here and his whole thing is just feet. Back in reality, Eraser taunts Sonic by stating he is immortal and will simply come back if Sonic defeats him, to which Sonic reveals a lamp that he suddenly has. Turns out it was the lump of crap Shara gave Sonic at the Blue Ring and only materialized into the lamp shape upon her death. Now, this happened because Sonic confirms that he gets 3 wishes from the genie before sitting down and starting the best sequence of this whole game. First, he wishes Shara back to life. Next, he forces Eraser to undo all of his work and restore the Arabian Nights back to the way they were. And finally, I'll just let Sonic speak.
My third wish! Eraser Jin, you shall live out the rest of time trapped inside your lamp as you were in days of old!
Hot damn, if nothing else, at least we got this scene out of it. Eraser begs for Shara to help, but is eventually condemned to his lamp while Shara sits by and cries. With one last promise to keep, Sonic asks for one last wish to be granted.
I wish for a mountain of handkerchiefs. Now, just let yourself cry. As much as you need to. You'll have plenty of handkerchiefs to help you through it.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Sonic. You just banished her magic purple barber daddy to immortal forever prison, a person she was willing to destroy the world for, and your response is to let her cry? She is responsible for carrying out the entire plot that got you saddled with a cursed fire arrow that would kill you. In her own words, she knew his life would be taken and went out of her way to get him. The fire arrow itself was just Eraser freestyling on the genocide plan FrogMan. Wait, how did you even fix it? Did the Darkspine transformation rid the curse? If so, why did we not get healed when we got 4 rings? It's all we needed, right? Oh my god, we're almost done with this trash story. In a mid-credit sequence, Shara tells us that Sonic ran around the world of the Arabian Nights, dropped a razor's lamp into the foundry, and eventually found his way home. Where was it? I don't know, there was a hole in the ground, I think. Shara says he had many great adventures with Tailsy Baba and Nuckbad, but those are stories for another time.
And Shara was never heard from again.
Oh, good God, y'all. This was a beast to get through, and I'm not even done, because I want to talk about the small things, too. This game is a bit of a hot mess.
Oh no! Say it ain't so!
From the really flimsy plot, nonsensical mission structure that doesn't help the player, the ungodly amount of times we have to hear Make Believe Reborn, one has to ask, why wasn't this changed? Like, the core abilities feel so bad to use. We need to literally be bribed to use them. And even then, it's a chore. But why is it like this? Well, it feels to me at least that this whole project was subject to a very rushed development cycle that never had enough time to flesh out the moments that make this feel special. There's a separate menu to track achievements known as the Special Book, and it gives us insights into production and what certain scenes were trying to convey. Sometimes it would just be a useless blurb that didn't describe the scene at all, like the one where Sonic makes his promise to Shara. The text mentions it shows how these two worlds are not quite so different. Oh, of course, how could I not see it? They both have fingers. They talk about how the basic enemies were added way late into production. They have nothing to say about anything. And it's rough. Game development is hard enough without the pressures of needing to rebound after the worst entry in your franchise. Add on to that the need to add motion controls, a new system to develop for, and the fact I'm sure story beats were changing almost all the time, and we've got a mixed up mess that allows you to accidentally miss integral cutscenes of the game. But to commend at least one thing, the voice acting is great. I don't believe there's a bad performance anywhere. There's only so much one can do with a plot that feels as rushed together as this one, and the somber notes of the end credits song make me feel that there was a much better story here somewhere, but we were just not given the chance to experience it. Instead, I have Make Believe Reborn carved into my f***ing skull.
Overall, Sonic and the Secret Rings is a huge mess that was faced with all the challenges of being on a brand new console without the benefit of time to iron things out. The controls forbid any sort of precise platforming and only shine when there's large areas to weave through or enemies to bounce around between. There are a few collectibles in the Fire Souls and medals to gain if you want to complete it, but I don't promote self-harm, so I would decide against that. The Fire Souls only unlock characters and games in the party mode, and I tried it, I lost to Knuckles, I wouldn't recommend it. And honestly, I wouldn't recommend this game as a whole either. I got my sick enjoyment from the arduous controls and silly main villain, but between the tedious, never-ending missions and the nonsense story that caps off with heaps of handkerchiefs, it's fun in doses, but it's not a game that stood the test of time. And honestly, it's fine. I mean, we can only imagine what Sonic fans could do with that many tissues at hand.